So on the question of Gaza, let's watch the questions, and then I'm gonna answer what I think should happen.
Hey, what's up, Chart? I was gonna ask you, you think that Israel should displace the Palestinians from Palestine to Egypt and Jordan?
It's a tough question. I will say this, guys. I'm happy to do the whole afternoon on Israel, but let's try to get to other questions. But
That's what I'm. That's
I'm
what I'm
not
here-
blaming you. I'm
Oh,
just
okay.
to the audience.
Yeah.
So my answer would be yes, completely. Knowing the history of this region, in any event, when you fight a war with your enemy, you win the war. You can take over. You're supposed to take over the country, whatever your enemy is holding. And if you needed to move the population, you can move it anywhere you wanted to, and then occupy the populations, the land. I think that what must happen, and not just to Gaza, but to the entire West Bank and Gaza, both of them. This place have become a fighting front for the entire Middle East. The entire 57 Muslim countries, they send money to the border countries of Gaza. They send money, weapons, fighters, smuggle. There is hundreds of thousands of tunnels, underground tunnels, that weapon going into this place to make sure that the fight will continue forever. And this has been going on for 100 years already. And the Muslim populations in this region, for over 80 generations, have continuously modified their society to look at the fight against Israel as a salvation, as a paradise, the way to get to heavens, to be favored with God, to be loved by God. And in a fight against the Christians, especially the Jews, will be the ultimate reward for a Muslims. So this is what they are required to do, and they have been doing it again for the last 1500 years, 80 generations. And so there is no end in without them being moved. And this is, I think Israelis, they should have been done this a long time ago, at the first war of 1930s. It's ridiculous that they have, around 1940, when the entire Arab countries that surround Israel, they all gang up on Israel to try to eradicate the whole Israel. When the Israeli won that war, they should have taken over the place and either demilitarize the whole place and eradicate all the jihadis and their supporters, take control of it, or just move these people out completely. And there cannot be any emotion involved when you're doing this. Just the same thing that done in 1945 when the war is fighting the neo-Nazis. Let's see what the guy is answering on this one question, and then we'll post this video, and then the link to this whole thing, I can post it to the descriptions if you want to watch the whole 15-minute of this guy's video.
It's a difficult question. I don't know what the solution is. I don't.
So you think it's right for them to?
I'm not saying it's right. I'm saying the solution is very difficult.
By the way, the guy who was asking the questions is Hamas himself. You know, there are over 400,000 Hamas in the United States. They are either come in under false claim of refugees, fraudulent visas, and no other open border under Biden. People can just walk in. So this guy, he's not asking questions because he really curious and want real answers. He here to speak to the audience, to try to argue on behalf of Hamas. He is not here because he really want an educated, intellectually guided answers. He's here to speak on behalf of Hamas.
Difficult because the people of Gaza have shown that they are incapable of self-government.
Sure.
Incapable. That when they are given self-government, it becomes a terrorist hotbed, and it becomes a nightmare for the Jewish people, and war ensues. So I don't know what
Right, but my question here is, do you think it's ethnic cleansing to forcibly tell them to get out of Gaza?
Again, I'm not even saying I support
Because
it.
this is what Trump said.
I know what Trump said. I'm not even saying that I think that's a good idea. I do want someone to tell me what the solution is, though, because that's an idea.
Why he doesn't think it's a good idea? He seemed to be leaning back. Fear of being labeled as ethnic cleanser. There's no such as ethnic cleansing. In a war, people die. In a war, you take over a country. The losers end up with lose their society. They lose their land. Just like any countries, every country that existed today have get that land through the war. There is no country in the world right now where, if you go back 20,000 years ago, every country that they have that living on the land today, there are other people that are being owner of that land. Every time there is a war, the land gets transferred to whoever wins the war. Especially when you're fighting with Nazis, neo-Nazis like this, Hamas, your goal should be to eradicate them, to get rid of them completely, without any hesitations or emotions, completely at all. Don't care about the organizations, the UN, which is part of the jihadi countries. And remember, the UN is 100% part of the Muslim countries, 100%. And this is what they are. They are part of the jihadi, controlled by the complete Muslim countries in the world. They've been funded 100%. All the little organization that they have, they exist to promote and spread this chaos, because the chaos gives them more money. And most of the money that they get is through a lot of these Arab countries. Arab countries also get the budget by the advocate that they received through advocacy that they receive through the UN. And the UN, they almost replace almost everyone, just like you see in the United States and other Europe countries. The Arab country comes and they replace low-level government people, city councils, the mayor, and every level of government job they get in, they put their people there, and then they keep hiring their people into the government until there's nobody left but their own. So that's how the UN have become. The UN is not what it was before. UN of today, almost 80 to 90% of lower employee of the UN are the Muslim, from the Muslim populations. And so this will, I think, let's make it to 10 minutes and then...
Yes, Egypt actually offered the solution, but Trump was against it.
What would you say the solution is?
The solution is to have an Arab state to govern them, basically, and for Hamas not to be in control. That's all I'm saying.
Right. So we had something close to that, though.
That's not going to work, because you know what happens? Hamas have over tens of thousands of tunnels underground. They will say, yeah, we're going to turn this over to the whoever is going to be in charge, PLO, or the Arab countries. In reality, there are about 40,000 Hamas in Palestinian in this area, in that area. They go into the populations, continue to recruit, continue to pile up weapons, continue to train, continue to smuggle fighters from Egypt, from Syria, from Lebanon, and then will eventually start fighting again. This will never end. So having Hamas say, "Oh, we have no part of this government anymore," will not fix the problem. Complete demilitarizations, where there is no military equipment is allowed, not even a knife should be allowed in that society. Second, a transfer of the population to the air from the area, and then Israeli should take the place over, or the place should become island of the United States, military base of the United States, huge military base, where the United States can sit there and kind of look over the regions and control and take half of power military base for the United States.